Why I Just Don't Care About the London Attack. Originally published Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. Before you accuse me of being cold, heartless, evil, or a psychopath, understand that the point of this post is one akin to the Serenity Prayer, a very important philosophical epiphany many people never realize, but should, as it is vital to their psychological well-being and mental health. It is one of accepting reality and not getting worked up in the world of theory. And the London attacks, like previous and any future terrorist attacks, are making/will continue to make my point until the point in time something is actually done about Islamic terror. And I strongly suggest you set aside emotions, politics, and even your own sense of self-survival to clearly see and hear the point that I'm trying to make. First, what is it this time? Be it the Nice attack in France, the bombing in Germany's Market Square, the Boston Marathon bombing, the Cologne sexual assault party, the Orlando gay nightclub shooting, or the hotel bombing in Mumbai, it's very apparent that nothing new is going to happen. The media will immediately rush to say that it wasn't confirmed that it was a Muslim who did this. Then, when it's discovered that it was, they will rush out to say that Muslims fear a backlash in their communities before the bodies get cold. There will be furor on the internet on the right demanding we do something about this, and people on the left will rush to say that it's racism to point out the attacks came from Muslims. But in the end, nothing different will happen. Nothing. And the reason nothing different will happen is that too many young people, too many old people, and too many women have been successfully brainwashed in Western schools to put diversity and the fear of being called a racist over their own desire for survival. They will continue to vote left, they will continue to vote for the elimination of Western culture, and unless you're willing to waste your life by taking up arms and overthrowing a democracy only to be killed yourself or land in prison forever, then your only option is to sit there and take it. Second, this brings in the importance of stoicism and practicing it. Since the outcome is already concluded for this and all future terrorist attacks, why get worked up about it? I know it's not fair. I know it's not right. I know your country's very own survival is on the line, but it is here an ultimate test in sanity and stoicism applies. If you don't control it, why bother getting worked up about it? Yes, I know murder is not acceptable. Yes, I know terrorism is bad. But if it's going to happen no matter what I think about it, then I'm not paying the added price of stress, worry, fret, and anger on top of it. I'm going about my day and working on the things I do control. Will I eat healthy? Will I work out? Will I work hard? And most importantly, will I spend quality time with family, friends, and loved ones? These decisions and actions will have an effect on your future, whether you are fated to die in a terrorist blast or not. And if there's something to save your energy for, executable and effective actions are it. Third, these people did it to their goddamn selves. If there's a reason to hate me, this third reason is likely it, because it shows you how I'm all out of fucks to give about the human race, and just what a genuine misanthrope I am. But if you think about it, who are the majority of the victims in these terrorist attacks? Hard-working conservative farmers in flyover country? The quiet, studious man spending time with his nuclear family at home? The penitent man confessing his sins at church? Or the engineering student foregoing a night of partying so he can study for a better life? The absolute zero, cold statistical truth is that the majority of terrorist attacks kill a majority of people in Western civilization who voted this stuff in, namely leftists. The Twin Towers wiped out predominantly New Yorkers. Sad and tragic as it was, of the 3,000 people that died, the majority were leftists. The partygoers in Nice and Cologne? Young people living off the government dime, studying some worthless degree or another, telling them how evil white people and capitalism are. Leftist. Bar the cop who heroically died in the London attack yesterday, I'm sure the people wandering downtown London who got run over by terrorist attacker number 379C were good leftists. Boston. Left. The San Bernardino terrorist attack was at a government facility on government workers. Leftists. The horrifying attack in the gay nightclub. Leftists. And my favorite is when the occasional feminist gets raped at a refugee camp. Most definitely leftist. I know this shows I no longer have a soul, and yes, I acknowledge there were definitely some non-leftist victims in these attacks, but again, my point is not one of morality or ethics. My point is one of acceptance, numbers, and reality. It's hard to attack and kill conservatives in large numbers because those ignorant hick bastards are spread out over rural and suburbanite areas. They don't congregate in downtown areas to party, and the major metro centers with the richest targets for terrorists tend to have a heavily dense population of leftists. And while on a human side I do mourn the innocent worker in Mumbai or the innocent tourist in the Twin Towers, on the whole, I just can't give a fuck when the majority of people who are dying in these attacks are the ones who voted it in. And I really can't give a fuck when, for the past 30 years of my life, these people are the ones who call me racist, sexist, evil, fascist, and privileged, blame me for all their problems, and likely hate me more than the terrorists themselves do. And this leads me to my final point about terrorist attacks nobody's going to do anything about: self-respect. Much as I disagree with terrorism, Islam, and murder, there is one thing they have that Westerners don't: self-respect. Disagree with their culture, disagree with their heinous methods, disagree with whatever you want. They actually have the self-respect to put themselves first and not roll over on their backs in a death-bound psychotic virtue-signaling competition to see who is the least racist and biggest proponent of diversity. They actually love themselves and their culture enough to die for it, while leftists can't even wait to lift their skirts quick enough while jettisoning and throwing their own culture under the bus. This lack of self-respect disgusts me. It's like the nerd who pities himself and mopes, saying, "No girl will ever like me. Oh, there's no reason to live. I'm such a bad person." But instead of begetting pity or sympathy, it begets disrespect, disdain, and, in my case, hatred and rage. I just can't respect or care about people who don't have the basic, simple ability to respect themselves. To be such self-loathing, cowardly, worthless human beings that they place more value on valuing others over themselves is revolting. It's so disgusting that in full intellectual honesty, I can actually respect the terrorists themselves more, because at least they stand for something. So when you throw it all together, why should I, or anybody else with self-respect and a life to tend to, give a flying fuck about this or the scores of attacks that are going to happen in the future? Nothing is going to be done about it. The people who are attacked don't care and even think they deserve it. Nobody has the courage to speak up about limiting immigration from cultures that have irreconcilable differences. And the people getting attacked are unconsciously the ones who brought it upon themselves. A culture without self-respect will not survive. Not in as much that it doesn't deserve it, but the reality is that other cultures with self-respect are superior to it and will overtake it and conquer it. Ergo, bar being armed to the hilt to protect my loved ones and myself, I just cannot muster up the care for the self-inflicted problems of self-loathing others. In the meantime, I recommend what I always do. Enjoy that decline, people. Enjoy that freaking decline.